Hi guys, welcome back. It's been a little while since I posted and I apologize for that. I know some of you have been waiting very patiently for me. I gotta back up a little bit, I feel too close to the camera. Anyway, I had a cold over the weekend and I was just a mess. I was pretty sick, so I didn't get much painting done at all. But I've been trying to mellow myself out today because I've been under some stress, and so I decided to do some trees and bushes where I just practice the strokes and the leaves, and some of them turn out okay, some of them don't turn out okay. Like here's one that I did the other day. It was just basic, just nothing to it, but I was just fooling around, and it helps to improve your skills with painting trees. Now here's a landscape that I did the other day. I was going to post the video and I lost 2 portions of clips of video just completely. They were there, I looked at them, I reviewed them, I was getting ready to edit them, and all of a sudden the files disappeared. Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. It's never happened to me before. So I couldn't post the video because the whole center of it was gone. But this was the landscape that I had done on the video. And then today I was just kind of working on a bush, and so I did this one just to kind of mellow out a little bit. So I thought, well, maybe I'll do that. I'll do some bush kind of thing with you guys so that you can learn how I do the strokes. But I think instead I'm going to do a landscape. I found a very simple Boathouse landscape on pmp-art.com, which is Paint My Photo. You can Google Paint My Photo or go to pmp-art.com and register. It's free. They don't send you a bunch of emails or anything like that. The only time you'd get an email is if you join a group or something, and the group might contact you, but you don't have to join any groups if you don't want to. I'm in a few different groups, but somebody was also asking where I was on the site because she wanted to follow me, and I believe I'm just under Sharon Cullen. That's it. So if you look me up under Sharon Cullen, you should find me. And my profile pic is actually an acrylic painting of a face, kind of an abstract face. It's not my actual photo, so it's blues and purples. If you see that, you'll know it's me. But anyway, so I'm going to show you this landscape. Let me just turn the camera around. Landscape that I thought I would do today. It's very simple, and I might change the leaves. I'm going to probably move it over a little because you really don't want your focal point to be dead center in a photo. That's how some of these photographs on this website are very amateur, and it's a beautiful photo, but it's not a good composition. So the nice thing about painting is that we can change the composition any way we want to. So what I think I will do is I will extend maybe this corner off and maybe add a tree over onto the other side, and then move the boathouse over to the right so it's in one of the other third quadrants of the photo, so that it will make a better composition. But let's go ahead and get started, and we'll see how I do. I'm thinking I'll keep you on a little bit of an angle here so you can watch me mixing paints. This is from my previous painting, so I'm just going to clean that off, and then that way you can see me when I'm sketching. It's a waste of good paint, but I don't need it, so there. Okay, I've just covered up my other page on my book. I'm using my Moleskine, and I love these big books like this, but they take up a lot of table space. And you got to think about that if you're out urban sketching too, but my page got a little dirty also. I'm going to put some clips on this because this paper is 200 GSM and it wants to take off on me a little bit and get a little bit warped. The other thing I was going to tell you was that Pentalic book is supposed to come out the end of November, and it will be, they will have the bigger sizes. So I've already pre-ordered mine on Amazon. I got the 8.5 by 11, and I'm just waiting on it to come into stock. They said at the end of November, so I'm really excited. I can't wait until it comes. It'll be a surprise, kind of like a sketch box when it comes in the mail. But we'll wait and see. You know what? You're not even going to be able to see me draw this, so I'm just going to draw it in, and then we'll get started. I'm here. Okay, I got the boathouse in now, and I just decided I was going to add the tree. So I'm just going to quickly put that in. Let me turn this music down a little more. There we go. This one got louder for some reason. So there's a lot of green in this, so I'm going to kind of mix it up a bit. I think what I need to do first is change my water, so I'm going to pause the video. Okay, that's a little better. My water was purple, so I have to change that. Okay. Excuse my cough. I'm sorry. I'm still getting over this. So I'm going to take my Silver Black Velvet 3/4 inch oval, and I'm just going to go across the top portion of the paper, not the water yet. I'm going to save the water for later. I'm going to go around the house carefully. I don't want to get it wet, but I want to wet everything else. There's no sky in this photo, so I don't know. I may add a little bit of sky in, but shoot, there goes the rest of my paper. I gotta put another clip on here. I hate these kind, but they really do help. There we go. Oh, my brush got dirty. Oh, I hit my palette. And there was Payne's Gray in there. There we go. There's still a little pinkish purple in here from my previous painting too. Okay, so I've got that wet. And then I'm going to wet over here where this tree is. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then down here where the water plants are. That spot keeps drying there right by the thing. I don't know why. Okay, so I think I'm okay here. And I'm going to take a little bit of my Hansa Yellow Medium, and I'm going to add just a little bit of sap green to it, just to kind of lighten it. I don't know if you can see my palette here, not very well. Let me move it in. I'm going to get a light green, and then I'm just going to kind of blot it over the paper here and there. Doesn't have to be everywhere, but especially down low here, because these plants are very light. And then I'm just going to grab some sap green and rinse my brush out a little bit here. I don't want it too wet. It tends to get very wet. Oops, I hit my red, so that got dirty. This brush is a little big to be using in this pan. Okay, now I'm just going to scatter it around. And all this is going to do is give the background something nice to look at. Instead of doing a wet on dry kind of a painting, this way we can add a little bit of character to it. It's going to dry light. I still got a little red on there, darn it. Okay, I love meditative music, but when they just hold a note like that, it drives me crazy. I don't like that drone sound either. Okay. Now I'm just going to let that dry. And is jagged at the bottom because the wood rotted, it looks like. So I'm just going to kind of leave that jagged. Doesn't matter if you bring it all the way down, because if you bring it all the way down, you can always go back in with a little Payne's Gray later to make that uneven again. So it's not a big deal. Whoops, I went in a little bit too far. That's not a big deal either because it's dark inside there. So I'll be putting a darker color over it. And I just did what I didn't want to do. I got the brown over here. See if I can get rid of it with a thirsty brush here. There. Put a little bit of that yellow back in. There. Okay. And I'm going to do the top the same way. The photo's a little overexposed from the sunlight hitting this. So I'm going to take this side and leave it a little bit darker, and then on this side I'm going to take some water and pull this in because the sunlight is hitting that side, so I want it to stay light. So we'll just do that, and I can always glaze over it again later on the left side and make it a little bit darker. And that way it'll keep that light there. And I also got a little bit of green inside the roof line here, which I got to get rid of. I think I'm just going to go ahead and dry this now for a little bit. Okay, that's dry now. I got a little bloom here because the water settled. This paper is not good for wet into wet. So as far as this Moleskine book goes, I bet it's great for sketching out in the field and then doing a wet on dry painting, but not for wet into wet. I've been having nothing but trouble. It's so warped, and then it keeps puddling here and there. It's driving me crazy. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that brown again, and I'm going to go over this again with a round brush where I have a little bit better control, and I can straighten out these lines. And then this up here was more of a light color. Maybe I need a yellow ochre instead. Yeah, maybe a little bit of that. There's this board going across. I'm going to try and remember to post the exact photo on Paint My Photo. I don't know if it'll take you there. It'll probably take you back to the registration page, but or to your sign-in page. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint this real dark under here. Then after that dries, I can put the shadow on that side. The top part looks like it has moss on the roof, but I'm going to give this a little bit of gray, just a very light touch of gray first, and then I'm going to try to go in with a blue-green to put some moss on. But we're going to come back to it later, so let's go ahead and start on the trees. Now, you can either use a flat brush, or now you can use a round brush if you'd like, something like this that comes to a point, that would work, or an oval like this that also comes to a point at the tip, but it's flat, or you can use a flat brush, whatever you prefer. I'm going to use this oval today just because it's a newer brush and I'm enjoying fiddling around with it. So, but really, you can use, I like using flat brushes on trees as well. So now I'm going to go in with some sap green, and I'm just going to give this a little bit of character with the branches. This almost looks like a I don't know if it looks like a rhododendron or what, but I'm not going to worry about getting the plant perfect. See, I just kind of sweep my brush back and forth, and then I extend some leaves off of it. I'm so sorry about my dog. I'm just randomly doing this, putting color here and there, but I'm going to go back now with some of that yellow green. I'm just going to make it a little bit deeper colored. Because I want to keep some of the areas still pretty light. Doesn't look very different, but it really is. It's, for me, it comes out much yellower. Okay, and now I'm going to take some nice sap green, making a new puddle. I'm just going to take that, and then I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine blue to it, just to darken that green a little bit. And I'm going to go back over these spots. And I don't want it to get too dark. I've made that mistake before, and then it gets real chalky looking, and I have a tendency to get a little bit dark with my color. I have to always fight that. Put a little of this darker color here. You can kind of see how the trees come into light already. I love this little plate. I got that in an estate sale for, I got 2 of them for $5. I got a longer one, which I keep up north at my cottage, and then this one. They're just bread or cheese plates that were from an estate sale, and they're from, I don't know, they're England made, Royal Vitreous, John something. It's probably good stuff. It's got this seal on it and everything, and here I am using it for this, but oh well. It was kind of a fancy estate sale. I went there, you wouldn't believe it. I don't know if you would believe it, because if you saw my old video, when I first started my channel, I had some pastel videos that I had posted. And one of them was a video of an estate sale, my estate sale finds or something like that. And I got a full box, the full set of Rembrandt pastels. I forget how many pastels are in there, but it's like 4 tiers, 4 layers in this wood box. And Rembrandt isn't my favorite. It's a harder pastel, but I do use it. And then I use my softer pastels over it. When you layer, you have to get softer and softer and softer. But anyway, I got the full set for like $175. Absolutely brand spanking new. Not one pastel was ever used. Somebody bought it and never used them. And I thought, oh my gosh, I got to have these. So I stood in line in the rain, and I'm not an estate sale person, but my husband actually ran across it, and he goes, "You got to go get these," which I never thought he'd ever say. God bless him. But anyway, because I got a lot of art supplies, and it drives him crazy. And that's not all I have. But I went and got them, and nobody else went for them. There were a couple people in line behind me that, if I had to stereotype, I'd say looked like they were artists. They were young, probably college-aged. And I thought, oh, are they coming for the same thing? And it ended up, I was in line ahead of them, and the first thing I did inside the door was said, "I'm looking for the Rembrandt pastels." And a guy walked me right over. He goes, "There they are under the table." And I pulled the box out, and I was like so excited. Everybody was looking at me like, what is it? What did she get? You know? Nobody cared. But I was glad to be there first, that's for sure. Now I'm taking a little hooker's green, and I'm going to put a little bit of just a little dot of indigo blue in there to make an even darker green. So I've got this real deep green now. And I want to put that like in my in-between spots where the deepest, darkest inner branches are. I'm making it a little bit darker though. It's not quite as dark as I thought it would be. There we go. Now this might be too thick. I might have to, maybe not. I've been stressed out today because of my son moving and the hassle that he's gone through. There were some huge hassles. He had a house all ready to move in, truck loaded, and left his other home and gets to go move in and no keys because they rented out the place to another person, even after giving a deposit. So they lost that spot, and now they're supposed to move into another place today. If it happens, I don't know. But he doesn't want to live here. I don't especially want him living here. I love him. But after they've been out of your house for 10 or more years, it's just really hard sharing your home with your kids again. Because they're grown adults. He's in his 30s, you know. But anyway, that stresses me out. And because I don't know what's going on with this whole house business. And then the other thing that's driving me crazy is that I told you guys all about my PTSD stuff. And I had an appointment today. And if it gets too deep and it causes my flashbacks, then I'm a mess all day. So that's why I've got this meditative music on. And I've been doing these trees and just dashing and dotting stuff around because it's relaxing to me. Gets me in the zone and out of my head, so to speak. You know what I mean? I think I want a little yellow in there. I'll do that in the next tree because you really shouldn't add yellow on top of a darker color. You can do it sometimes, but it's just not. It'll make it chalky probably, you know. Just adding some blue in here just for fun. Just some ultramarine dots here and there. I think it adds a little more color to it. This can give it some depth. Anyway, this meditative music, I love birds. I love birds. You've probably seen a lot of my little watercolor birds in my sketchbooks on my videos, but oops, this got too big. I'm going to have to wiggle that together. I don't like the way that turned out. Or that. Or that. There, we'll fix it. But anyway, that's the one problem with winter is that the birds tend to go away. The real pretty songbirds go away. And there's a few left because I continue to feed them. But the windows are closed. It's cold outside, so I don't get to hear them very much. I was letting the dogs out earlier, and I opened the door, and I was watching my son's dog because I don't have a fenced-in yard, and I worry about him going over the lot line. But he's real good about watching my dog, and he knows where to go and where not to go. It's kind of funny to see how dogs, you can see their gears turning, you know. But anyway, I was standing there with the door open watching him, and I thought, I hear a songbird. And it was just so pretty. I didn't want to close the door, but it was in the 40s, and I had to close the door. So I thought, I'm going to listen to some meditative music, and I'm going to put some bird sounds on. So that's what I'm doing. And this is just free music, so hopefully it's not going to be a problem for YouTube. If it is, you won't see this video because they will rip it down. And then I have to do a voiceover on the entire video. What I'm doing here is just messing around, and with the yellow being down, I'm a little worried at how this is going to work, but there's a very dark tree here, dark background, so I thought I'll add some purple in here, and this is going to be in the background, but I just thought I'd try it and see what happens. If it gets ruined, then I will know when I get to it. I'm also going to add a little bit of alizarin crimson to that and make it more of a purple rather than a violet. Head was under the camera there. I got one of those aroma wax melting pot things from my son for my birthday, my other son, Justin, and he bought me all these smells to go with it. And I have an entire drawer full of them because I already own one of those things. But he bought me such a pretty one. I keep it in my living room, and then I brought my other one up here, which looks like mosaic tiles or something. So I've got the smells going, and the one that I have in there is something called something scarlet wreath or Christmas tree or something. So there's this little hint of pine, but also this berry smell that's absolutely phenomenal. I wish you could smell it. Just adding a little bit of blue violet. I mixed ultramarine blue and my violet color to get this violet. Now here it's starting to get lighter again, so I'm going to switch back to a green. And then back to my sap. Okay. I'm going to start over here now, and I'll do the same thing. I'm going to start with my lighter color. Sounds like spring, doesn't it? I love that sound. Okay. I might just lose some detail over on this side. I don't know, maybe not. Because our focal point is here. If I kind of make this kind of dissolve away, that could look really cool. But I didn't really plan for it, so it's not working out very well. I'm going to add a little bit of the violet over here too. I just think it needs it to even it out. This blue violet, I'm just sticking it in here and there. It's going to look green because it's on top of green, but that part probably won't. There we go. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my funky little grass brush and branch brush, if I can find it. Here it is. This is my Rosemary & Company Tree and Texture Series 32 half-inch brush. This is the one that has the funny bristles that are short and then become longer all the way up to the top here. So I'm going to take that with a little bit of yellow ochre, Got to keep it on the dry side, and I'm just going to try and brush this up here all along. Might not have enough color here. Doesn't matter what it looks like now because it is going to get covered up a bit. I'm just getting a little more yellow ochre and trying to keep my brush on the dry side. Whoops, there goes my photo. There we go. And this comes up along here. A little bit of it comes this way. And then the rest is just barely touching the surface. All right, now I'm going to go over to the Boathouse, and I'm just taking a little bit of Payne's Gray, and I'm going to keep it nice and light, very diluted, and I'm just going to paint the whole roof, just so I have a base color. I don't want a white roof showing through. So I'm going to take that and put it all the way down to there. Shh, Diesel. I can't play right now, baby. I got so much to do. Okay. We'll let that dry. Now I'm going to go back and do the shadow over here. So I'm going to take this with the gray. I mixed a little burnt sienna in, and I'm just going to go along here. Like that. There. That's done. And I'm going to just go in here because this is real dark. Can't see in. And I just use Payne's Gray as a black. I love the color. And I don't like black. I never use black. A lot of artists don't. You'll see oil painters using black, which is interesting, but not in watercolor a whole lot. If you're gonna do black, mix your own. Okay, now we can work on this. This is going to be a little harder. This really appears like petrified wood, so I don't know if I'm going to make it rock or wood or both. I want to do some slats, definitely. The more ragged and uneven this is, the better, because it is not even. It's all petrified, and there's spots that are wider and then spots that are skinnier. And then this is all shadow under here from the roof line. Okay, now I got to do the water. I'm going to fix this roof a little more too. I don't like what I did to that. I can just kind of fade it out a little bit here, make it look like a mess that it is. I'll fix that in a minute. Let's see, got to get this mixed. I want to get the color mixed first. It's a green, almost like a phthalo green. Let's see, I think I will use some phthalo green. That's phthalo green, is it? Yeah. Maybe some turquoise. There we go. Now I got to dry this because it's quickly going to puddle in the middle. See how I got that big dip? It's this paper. It's just awful. I'm not a real fan of moleskin, at least not for this. It's not meant, even though they call it watercolor, it's not a watercolor book. Too lightweight for my liking. It's more of a sketchbook. I can't even get this flat now. Okay, well, at least I got my first wash down. And I'm going to do that again. This time I need a little more green there. So let me mix up some more green. There's some phthalo green, some sap. I should not be doing it like that. Nope, nope, nope. Need a little more yellow in it to brighten it up. Nope, just ruined my yellow. Okay. There we go. I'm just going to kind of glaze over this a little bit here and there now. And it needs a little bit of that raw sienna too, I think. Let's see. Just here and there. Now it's all ripply out here. That's why all this reflection is getting cut off. So I'm just going to take a darker version of that color and I'm just going to start to paint ripples all over. And while it's wet, it's just going to fall right into this, and then I can paint more ripples over it and just keep painting the ripples. There's a bit of white in there too. That reflection is white. It's puddling again. Ah, I hate that. I can't get it to work on this paper. Okay, I had another phone call interruption. I'm so sorry. I think I'm going to be overworking this if I try too much harder. I'm just going to put in a few shingles here and there and just kind of leave this as is. I want it to be sloppy because this roof looks like it's 200 years old and it's just like some of the shingles are real wide and then at the top they're super skinny. The lines in between are like super skinny. Like this. Put a little in the middle here. And there's this black spot too, but I don't know if that'll come out here at this. Okay, so now the last thing I need to do here is I need to put some branches and stuff like that in. So I'm just going to use Payne's Gray since this is pretty dark, and I'm just going to put some branches in here and there. You might not be able to see them really well, but I'm just going to poke them out of here. Maybe a couple up here. This is a scraggly little place. Okay, and that is the finished painting. I hope you enjoyed it, everybody. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you all soon. Leave me comments down below. Tell me what you'd like to see next. Bye-bye. Oh, by the way, I think I'm getting my notifications again. They started yesterday, so just to let you guys know. If I've missed somebody's comment, you can either comment again, or I apologize for missing them, or you can send me a private message. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.